Clean, climate smart, and community-led. The next seafood revolution will not come from the ocean floor, it will rise from Nigeria's ponds, tanks, and mines. For centuries, coastal communities have lived in harmony with the sea, managing, respecting, sustaining. But that balance is slipping away. Marine policies often come from faraway cities, detached from the rhythms of the tide. Meanwhile, the people who know the sea best are often unheard. Studies show that co-management, shared responsibility between government and locals, leads to stronger enforcement, sustainability, and resilience. In Ibino and Elage, fishers, women processors, and local leaders are setting their own rules, limiting gear, closing spawning zones, and reporting illegal boats. They know that the sea gives only when respected. And when communities feel ownership, enforcement follows. Tools are evolving. Smartphones now track fish stocks. Sea rangers collect data. And fisherwomen use mobile wallets to organize cooperatives. These are not just governance models, they are movements. Proof that sustainability grows stronger when rooted in culture. Governments may draw borders, but stewardship begins at the shoreline. When coastal voices lead, the sea listens, and so should we. A new kind of fuel is rising from the ocean, a gas so powerful it could transform Nigeria's energy landscape. It's colorless, clean, and made from water. Hydrogen is the universe's most abundant element. When burned, it emits only water vapor. As the world shifts from oil to clean energy, hydrogen is fast becoming the fuel of the future. Ocean-based hydrogen is made using renewable power to split seawater into hydrogen and oxygen, a process called electrolysis. It's green, scalable, and ideal for a country like Nigeria, rich in coastal wind, solar, and tidal energy. Green hydrogen could decarbonize Nigeria's shipping sector, electrify remote communities, and power cleaner industries. Already, universities and startups are piloting projects along the coast. New jobs, clean innovation, and export potential, Nigeria can become a hydrogen hub for Africa.
Preview.
From our oceans, we can fuel our future. The hydrogen revolution is here. Let's make it Nigerian. Beneath the waves, a new frontier awaits, filled with metals that power smartphones, solar panels, and electric cars. But is it a treasure chest or Pandora's box? Across the globe, nations are racing to mine the ocean floor. Cobalt, nickel, rare earth metals, all vital for the green transition, lie hidden under 4,000 meters of pressure and pitch-black silence. Demand for these minerals is soaring. Deep-sea mining could unlock them, at a cost. Nigeria, already a continental energy giant, may soon tap into its underwater mineral wealth. Recent surveys point to rich seabed reserves within our exclusive economic zone. With proper research and strategic governance, seabed mining could diversify our economy and reduce dependence on oil. But the ocean floor is not empty, it's alive. Mining could disrupt fragile ecosystems we barely understand. Species extinction, habitat loss, and sediment clouds could damage ocean life for generations. Critics urge caution. Once disturbed, deep-sea ecosystems may take centuries, or forever, to recover. Can we mine responsibly? With strict environmental safeguards, marine protected areas, and real-time impact monitoring, Nigeria could set a global benchmark. The debate is not just scientific, it's generational. The decisions we make now will shape the ocean's health and our nation's prosperity for decades.
Sit in and it's very simple. In fact, the matter should be Nigeria Shippers Council to be rescued, like a Superman wearing his cape. That's what you want, and that's how you build your brand. What is a brand, by the way?
Think the sea is far away? Think again. From the bustling markets of Lagos to the rich waters of Cross River, the sea impacts every single one of us. Brought to you by the Blue Economy Academy. This is Nigeria's essential monthly ocean intelligence brief. Whether you're in Badagry, Bakassi, or anywhere in between, we are all stakeholders of the seas. Join the conversation with founder Yubong Essien, CSB, and our team of limited spaces are available. Scan the QR code now and join the Code Blue movement. Let's build a Nigeria that prospers by water. Powered by the Blue Economy Academy.
Blue Economy Academy. Prosper by water.
As you know, today's event is about exploring the revolution of the blue economy and what the real estate sector can do. If you notice recently, there was this preliminary report about Nigeria's GDP, the rebasing. And we saw from that preliminary report that oil and gas has been displaced by real estate. Real estate is now number 3. Oil and gas is now number 4. Now, we get most of our income, most of our revenue from oil and gas. But in terms of its GDP value, which is really the gross domestic product for the nation, oil and gas is no longer giving us so much. That's why the oil and gas is actually what is called an enclave sector. You can invest 12 billion into the oil and gas sector and you'll be lucky to get employment of about 10,000 people. But invest 1 billion into any of the 10 buckets of the blue economy, because there are about 10 buckets of the blue economy. Those buckets, you have what we call blue commodities, for instance. You're talking about aquaculture, your fishes, your shrimps, all of those living organisms in the waters that can provide food, as long as they are harvested with sustainability in mind. You also have what we call blue cities, which is where you have real estate coming into the fore. So you're talking about development across the water lines, across the coast, waterfront development, luxury development as well, the entire gamut of it. So these 2 buckets alone, imagine the attention that we could pay to these 2 buckets and what we expect to generate. Now we know that on estimate basis, Nigeria's blue economy is put at about $30 billion. That much we know. Globally, it's about $1.5 trillion. That is very expansive without having to do so much, because it's a sector that is a lot more inclusive. If I were to ask you, how many people do you know in oil and gas? You would have to scratch your head. It's practically an exclusive industry. But if I were to say real estate, chances are that you know someone who might not be a developer, but is a broker. Who might not be a broker, but is maybe a sales and marketing person in that sector. And then talk about those who are lawyers as well in that sector. So clearly, the step that FIAPC is taking today to say this is a revolution taking place, we want to now begin to move our consciousness about real estate from merely being landed property to actually value-driven assets. In other words, water itself has real estate value. And because of all of the activities, economic activities that can take place on it, underneath it, around it, in terms of the communities, in terms of the mineral resources within it, and of course in terms of the kinds of buildings you can begin to create. You can actually have estates, aquatic estates.
Okay.
So,
I'll play the catch-up game because you spoke so much about the blue economy. Like this, we're just getting used to it. Or this administration that had a Ministry of Blue Economy. So I'll play the catch-up game.
Absolutely, we fast-track the process by moving from mere advocacy towards engagement. That's how we fast-track the process. So, for instance, you have in this room about 100 professionals in the real estate business, not just the Nigerian body, but of course you have for instance, you have the president of FIAPC Africa and Near East. So there's already international collaboration and expertise in this room. What I would say to FIAPC today is commence engagement. I'm told that there are commissioners from Lagos State that will also be part of this event. We don't have time for advocacy again, talking about whether it's important, talking about sensitizing ourselves. The world has moved. Yes, it's an emerging trend, but like you rightly asked, are we far behind? Yes, we're trying to play catch up now. So, FIAPC should start visiting all the governors of the 8 littoral states, from Badagry in Lagos to Bakassi in Cross River State. Those are 8 littoral states. You should be talking to the governors. Governors, can you help us? Can you provide us enablement along the coast? Can you open up those frontiers, because the 8 littoral states are the first frontiers as far as the blue economy is concerned. Then you have 20 other states inland, but they are connected by water transportation in one way or the other. Those are like the what you call the blue corridor states. So can FIAPC reach out to the governors, engage with them, and then create what we now know today as PPPs? All right, state governors, if you can open up the space for us. The real estate practitioners know how to find their way. We know that. We see estates all over the place. Many Nigerians have been buying into them, and so they've taken the lead without waiting for government.
Unlocking ocean opportunity. Let's prosper by water. From Badagry to Bakassi, Nigeria's coastline stretches with promise. Rich waters, endless resources, unseen opportunities. But for decades, we've remained sea blind, despite being surrounded by water. Nigeria has looked inland for growth. The maritime economy remained hidden in plain sight. The vast potential of the blue economy, untapped, unspoken, unrealized. Then came a vision. The Blue Economy Academy was founded to change the tide. A bold institution created to eliminate sea blindness and usher in a new wave of prosperity by water. At the heart of the Academy lies a strategic framework. 10 key inclusion buckets that capture the entire spectrum of the ocean economy. From ports to policy, fish to finance. BEA connects every drop of potential. Through executive education, stakeholder town halls, awareness campaigns, and hands-on training. BEA is bridging Nigeria's knowledge gap. One course, one conversation, one community at a time. From our monthly Mastering the Blue Economy Executive Intensive to grassroots projects like the Ocean Literacy Program and the Campaign Against Sea Blindness. BEA is for everyone: students, professionals, policy architects, investors, innovators, all united by one call to help Nigeria prosper by water. The Blue Economy Academy has already made waves. National press coverage, government recognition, community trust. It is becoming the lighthouse guiding Nigeria's blue renaissance. This is your call to board the ship. Join as a member. Learn, collaborate, lead. Be part of the movement to unlock our maritime future. Blue Economy Academy, prosper by water. Eliminating sea blindness.
Hello, my name is Ubong Isien, West Africa's only certified speaking professional and Dean School of Eloquence. According to the Eloquence Institute, over 70% of notable people, public officials and leaders find it very difficult to speak in public.
They do consultation.
This is how reputations are wrecked, one dull speech at a time. So, if you are serious about not being part of this sad statistic, protecting your voice, your image, and your reputation, then join me at the School of Eloquence, the home of public speaking.
My name is Adeze Nwogo, and the experience here at School of Eloquence has been amazing.
School of Eloquence, teaching the world to speak.
Are you tired of hearing about Nigeria's potential, only to wonder, what about my potential? Imagine a world where our rivers and oceans aren't just scenery, but pathways to prosperity, where our coastlines unlock new futures for every Nigerian. For too long, we've suffered from sea blindness. But it's time to open our eyes. Introducing Blue for You, a national movement connecting you to Nigeria's incredible blue economy. This isn't just for experts. It's for students, traders, innovators, and families. It's for everyone. Join our Blue congregation. Connect with passionate Nigerians. Share ideas and discover how to dive into a beautiful world of opportunity. Ready to find your blue? To see the scene not just as water, but as your future? Join our next monthly Blue for You forum via Zoom. Blue for You, the sea for all, that all may see. Your future is calling.
Life at sea is difficult enough. Let's not make it harder. I'm Ubong Isien, certified speaking professional and founder of the Blue Economy Academy. As the world marks the Day of the Seafarer, under the powerful theme, My Harassment-Free Ship, the message must echo beyond the moment. Our seafarers, those courageous men and women, face storms, isolation, and sacrifice every day. But what they should never have to face is harassment, abuse, or indignity on board their vessels. For women seafarers, this danger is often multiplied. Many of them suffer silently, marginalized, disrespected, or even violated. And all this without protection or justice. We must call this out. We must change it. A ship must be a sanctuary, not a threat. One where every woman is safe, every voice is heard, and every act of misconduct is addressed without delay. At the Blue Economy Academy, this is a moral and strategic priority reflected in two of our foundational pillars. First, Blue governance and justice, which demands stronger laws, enforcement, reporting systems, and ethical leadership at sea. And second, Blue talent, because we cannot build a sustainable maritime future while neglecting the very people who power it. The Nigerian seafarer, whether male or female, deserves more than a struggle. They deserve global relevance, respect, and recognition. Many of our seafarers remain undertrained, underpaid, and underprotected despite their potential and the sacrifices that they continue to make. We must change that. It's time to benchmark Nigerian seafarers against international best standards. It's time to invest in their welfare, dignity, and growth, not just as workers, but as ambassadors of our maritime future. Let's make every ship a place of professional pride, mental peace, and personal protection. Let's create a maritime culture that sees harassment as an emergency and not a hidden habit. Because a true blue economy is not just about what we can extract from the sea. It's about how we treat the people who live and work on it. So, to every Nigerian and global seafarer, we just want to let you know that we see you, we thank you, we stand with you. May your voyage continue to be safe, and may your ship be harassment-free. May your future be even brighter than your past. Thank you from all of us here at the Blue Economy Academy. Happy Seafarers Day. Indeed, it is your harassment-free ship.
Once, these waters were the world's most feared. Piracy, theft, fear at sea. But the Nigerian Navy fought back and won. For 3 years, our seas have been calm. Piracy defeated, waters secured, the Navy victorious. But calm seas alone are not enough. What next? Empty coasts, idle hands, youths with no trawlers to work on. Security without prosperity is only half a victory. America is a superpower because its security fuels its prosperity, and its prosperity funds its security. Nigeria too must embrace this duality. No arm of our military holds the key more than the Navy. The old battle was pirates, oil thieves, and poachers. The Navy won it. The new battle is poverty on our coasts, wasted blue wealth, stolen futures. This is the blue battle, the battle for prosperity, for jobs, for abundance. Admiral, history will remember not only the battles you won at sea, but the prosperity you unleashed from it.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Darren Phillips, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on LSDPC matters.
So we all know that public speaking is also tough. It's not just about speaking, it's also about handling tough situations. So I want to ask, why do you think people fear public speaking?
Well, with what I've learned, public speaking, the issues most people encounter is the fact that they are thinking of how they look. They're thinking of what they're saying. They're thinking of, themselves in that situation. But once you step out of that mindset and start thinking of what the people are going to benefit from that conversation. The knowledge you're going to spread, the information you're going to give them, you know, once you make that shift happen, it completely dissolves that fear, because then it's not about you and you're just focused on passing that message across and getting people to understand what you're saying.
That was really beautiful. So I want to also ask, with the way digital economy is evolving, how do you think public speaking plays a role in the success of businesses in this digital era?
I mean, in this digital era, especially the era of social media, everybody's concerned. Everybody's essentially a public speaker, because with your phone, you can talk to the world. That access has never happened anywhere in the world. But this time period, you have the voice, you have the platform to be able to talk to the world, which is the reason why most people should, you know, not only learn public speaking, but communication is such an important and useful skill that you just have to engage in, you have to perfect, you have to constantly practice to get ahead in this digital world.
Okay, thank you so very much, and thank you for your time. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You look good, by the way, and congrats on your induction, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can we know you, please?
Okay, my name is Dr. Lanre Ategbero.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm into real estate. I own a real estate company here in VI. We're into real estate agency, management, development, and all.
Okay, so I want to ask you how public speaking has played a role in you pitching to clients or trying to pitch for a position or something in the real estate industry.
Oh, well, public speaking is, it's part of our daily activities, because for you to market whatever product you have to speak with people, and you have to speak with them in a way they will understand to be ready to deal. Otherwise, it might be a put-off if you can't convey your information politely and accurately. So public speaking is part of our business.
Okay, so do you have any special skill that you use to grasp the attention of audience or clients?
Talk of that, well, that would be about the way I manage my clients in terms of the disposition. You know, you give them this aura that will make them welcome to you, and they will be ready to do business with you, which is what I think I have.
Thank you very much.
I endeared my clients to me.
I see that already.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, sir. Have a lovely day.
You're welcome. Thanks. You too. Bye.
Good day, sir.
Good day. Nice to meet you.
Okay, my name is Comfort.
My name is Kenny Wankwa. I'm a real estate agent, broker, and I'm also the Young Professionals Council president of FIAPSHI.
That's really nice. So I want to ask how public speaking plays a role in building trust and credibility in the real estate industry, as you have to market land, apartments, and properties. How do you build trust and credibility with public speaking?
Okay, I would say that public speaking is, I think, one of the best skills you can have. You can be underqualified, and if you speak well, people will in their mind, they'll qualify you higher. So I think it plays a role from the standpoint of communicating accurately, clearly, succinctly, makes people trust you more. It makes you sound more like you know what you're talking about, and people prefer to deal with people especially in this environment where there's like a huge trust deficit, especially in this country. When you speak well and you communicate the information and relay the information accurately and clearly and efficiently, it definitely buys you a great deal of trust. People are more likely to take you on your word more when you speak well. It helps you convey your message. If there's a value proposition that isn't obvious, being a well-spoken person and understanding public speaking can help you relay that in a way. And then also from the standpoint of diversity, being able to speak the various dialects people speak. Like I know, for example, I've had many situations where I'm dealing with like a local chief who is like, on Manilas and stuff and trying to broker some kind of deal, and that your eloquent university speak doesn't work there. Then you go to that guy and you speak the language that he speaks, which is its own form of public speaking. Like in Nigerian politics, you want to do a town hall in your local government. You're probably not going to do it in university English. So definitely that skill is huge in buying trust and, like credibility and cachet with people.
Well, this was Really wonderful. Thank you very much for your time and have a lovely day ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Good day, sir.
Good day, good afternoon, you're welcome.
Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Estate of Amvalo Abdugani Jimo, a member of the FIAPSI family. I'm into real estate, though practice in the northern part of Nigeria, that is precisely Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano, respectively. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I want to ask you how public speaking has helped you when speaking in public and how you handle tough questions or objections during public speaking.
Public speaking, I think, though I would say as the public relation officer, as a PRO, Kaduna State branch of the Nigerian Institute of Research and Valuers, I say I speak more in the public, and that has kind of like built my confidence when communicating with people, seeking people's opinion and making your own opinions, getting across your own opinion to others as well. And speaking in public, I think it goes a long way. Apart from the talent, it also has to do with training. It also has to do with learning and other skills involved.
Okay. So I want to also ask, do you think public speaking is inbuilt, or you can actually learn it, or it is like natural, like a talent?
Yes. Number one, there are those with that talent, so we can say it's inbuilt. However, apart from the inbuilt talent, I can categorically say it has to do with learning also, because for you to be able to speak in public, you need to first of all identify the kind of public you want to discuss with, and the kind of event you want to speak. You want to kind of go into. Is it a formal event? Is it a semi-formal event, or an informal event? Because that will guide you in your way of communication, in your way of processing your ideas to the people so let me say to the attendees, those who are present at such events. So it also has to do with learning also and training for you to be able to kind of communicate with people effectively.
Thank you so very much for your time. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. And I can say I want to use the opportunity also to thank the CEO of Achievement Channel. And why I said it is that today it's because I also speak in public also. It kind of like give me another dimension to mode of speakings, because first of all, apart from we understand that you need to kind of like introduce your theme, you need to introduce your topic, it's also give me another perspective which has to do with involvement, which has to do with engagement, because without the engagement, even speaking in public has a long way to go. Yes, because seriously today, this afternoon, I've also learned some things. Because I have to take my pen and pick my pad to take one or two things down, because it gave me an idea that when trying to introduce your topic, apart from the fact that you need to read your audience, it also has to do with bringing facts from the background of what your topic is, and try to use that background to base what's your topic inside, which has to do with training. Yes. It has to do with training, and that's very good. At least I've learned one or two things from him. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good day, sir. Can I know you, please?
Well, my name is Estate Surveyor and Valuer Honorable Ayodeji Ejalonibo Amodu. I'm currently the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. Governor, Mr. Celebu, Mr. Infrastructure, Mr. Housing, where I am. Of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State.
Okay, that's really nice. So I just want to ask you a question. So as a leader in the real estate industry, I want to ask how public speaking has influenced your success in the real estate industry.
Well, thank you very much. To say the fact, I love public speaking because I had a stint with public speaking, because at some point I had a degree in public relations and advertising. And if you actually study public relations, that was at a postgraduate level at Nigerian Institute of Journalism. That back then, by about 2000, about 25 years ago, in public relations, it's a course you actually take, public speaking. And public speaking helps you to actually express yourself. it gives you some sense of expression.
The sea is more than just water. It's our future. From Badagry to Bakassi, Nigeria's coastline is over 850 kilometers of untapped opportunity. The blue economy is woven into every part of our lives. We are all stakeholders of the seas. From the Blue Economy Academy, Code Blue is the brief designed to eliminate sea blindness. Get the critical insights you need to prosper by water, economically, environmentally, and educationally. Don't miss this opportunity to join the conversation. Limited virtual capacity. Scan the QR code now to join the movement. Let's build a Nigeria that prospers by water with Code Blue.
In the heart of Africa's coastline lies Nigeria's greatest untapped opportunity. Yet too many remain sea-blind, unaware of the wealth beneath the waves. The Blue Economy Academy was created to eliminate sea blindness and unlock prosperity by water. With 10 dynamic sectors, from blue commerce to blue ventures, we offer a clear, practical framework. Join as a student, professional, executive, or a titan of the ocean economy. Gain access to premium courses, join national working groups, and connect with a growing community. Let's make the blue economy work for Nigeria. Join the tide of change. Become a member of the Blue Economy Academy and help Nigeria prosper by water. For years, a silent war was fought in our waters. A fight against pirates, saboteurs, and criminals who threatened our nation's economic lifeblood. This is the story of a force that stood ready. A navy that answered the call. The Nigerian Navy has won the first half of the victory. Through unwavering resolve, piracy in the Gulf of Guinea has been defeated, winning us international acclaim. We have brought calm seas to our nation. But calm seas without thriving coasts is only half a victory. The next battle is not with fire, but with focus. A battle to transform the Navy's security win into Nigeria's prosperity. To win this battle, we must change our strategy. From security as a cost to security as a product. This is the purpose of NIPOL, Nigeria's first national prosperity coalition. It is a naval-led doctrine, an architecture for immediate action where security becomes the bedrock of investment confidence. NIPOL is a strategic handshake between the war room and the boardroom. It moves beyond the silos of marine and shipping to bring in every sector that touches our seas. Consider our vision for blue cities. Nigeria has 853 kilometers of coastline and 8 littoral states brimming with untapped potential. The private sector is ready to invest billions in coastal resorts and infrastructure, but they need an assurance no other institution can provide. NIPOL is that assurance. It is the platform where the Navy provides the security and state governors provide the access, allowing the private sector to deliver the prosperity. This is how the Navy gets a seat at the table from the very beginning, ensuring seamless security planning while simultaneously generating revenue, creating millions of jobs, and revitalizing our coastal communities. Admiral, the tides of our national destiny are changing. For the first time, a dedicated ministry and a national policy have given us the mandate to act. The space is open. This is the moment to pivot the Navy from a guardian of our waters to the guarantor of our prosperity. This is the legacy that awaits your leadership. When storms hit, mangroves stand between destruction and survival. These blue forests are our first and often last line of defense. Mangroves store up to 5x more carbon than rainforests. Seagrasses purify water. Salt marshes prevent floods. Together, they form a climate shield. In Nigeria, over 1/3 of mangroves have vanished, leaving coasts exposed and communities unprotected. What we lose in trees, we pay for in floods, hunger, and heat. But hope grows literally. Across Bayelsa, Cross River, and Lagos, communities are replanting, protecting, and profiting from carbon-rich ecosystems. Our coasts don't need concrete, they need roots. Let's rebuild what protects us all.
Nigeria has officially entered Code Blue, a new chapter in ocean intelligence powered by the Blue Economy Academy. Code Blue is our monthly national briefing series that brings together policy minds, industry leaders, and civic stakeholders to make sense of the opportunities that lie offshore, underwater, and on our coast. This is where we turn maritime insight into national strategy. Our maiden edition on July 29, 2025 sets sail with a landmark focus, Blueprint to Reality, mainstreaming Nigeria's 10-year marine and blue economy policy. We will unpack what the policy means beyond the paper and spotlight what government, industry, and of course citizens must do to implement it. With reflections from key public and private players, Code Blue aims to move Nigeria's blue economy from vision to value. Join us for this inaugural virtual voyage. Let's deepen the maritime awareness, shape national direction, and anchor new conversations that make Nigeria prosper by water. Welcome on board. Nigeria has officially entered Code Blue, a new chapter in ocean intelligence powered by the Blue Economy Academy. Code Blue is our monthly national briefing series that brings together policy minds, industry leaders, and civic stakeholders to make sense of the opportunities that lie offshore, underwater, and on our coast. This is where we turn maritime insight into national strategy. Our maiden edition on July 29, 2025 sets sail with a landmark focus, Blueprint to Reality, mainstreaming Nigeria's 10-year marine and blue economy policy. We will unpack what the policy means beyond the paper and spotlight what government, industry, and of course citizens must do to implement it. With reflections from key public and private players, Code Blue aims to move Nigeria's blue economy from vision to value. Join us for this inaugural virtual voyage. Let's deepen the maritime awareness, shape national direction, and anchor new conversations that make Nigeria prosper by water. Welcome on board.
We've mapped the moon better than our oceans. But that's changing thanks to AI, satellites, and smart tech that listen to the sea. A smart ocean is an informed ocean. Using sensors, AI, and cloud data, we can monitor fish stocks, track pollution, and even forecast climate threats. In Lagos, youth are coding maritime apps. In Calabar, AI tools are tracking trawlers. In Bayelsa, fishermen use SMS alerts to avoid toxic blooms. From oil tracking to weather alerts, data is becoming Nigeria's most powerful coastal tool. To lead, we need access to global tools, local training, and indigenous innovation. Ocean intelligence must be open, inclusive, and African-led. The ocean speaks in data. It's time we listened with purpose and with code. In the heart of Africa, a giant sleeps. Blessed with endless shores, intricate rivers, and vital lagoons, Nigeria holds a destiny written in water. Yet, for many, this vast inheritance remains unseen, a quiet backdrop to our daily lives. We call it sea blindness, the inability to truly see the lifeblood that flows through our nation. This blindness isn't just about what we don't see, it's about what we lose. Opportunities for jobs, for sustainable food, for clean energy, for global trade, slipping through our fingers. But one voice, and now a movement, dares to challenge this silence. We are a water-blessed nation. 853 kilometers of coastline, nearly 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways. This isn't just water, it's blue gold. It's our future, our prosperity, our collective well-being. The Blue Economy Academy is not just about identifying the problem, it's about igniting the solution. Through Blue for You, we are building a national movement, a blue congregation, to awaken this sleeping giant. It's about empowering you. Our mission is clear, the sea for all. That all may see. We believe that when every Nigerian sees the potential, they will own their role in building this incredible future. This is our moment. The time to turn potential into prosperity, to heal our waters, and to build a beautiful world for ourselves and generations to come. Your journey into the blue economy starts now. I invite you. Join our monthly online forums, become part of our Blue congregation. Let's share ideas, ignite passions, and together transform Nigeria's destiny. Your future is calling. Answer the call. Dive into your blue. Once, these waters were the world's most feared: piracy, theft, fear at sea. But the Nigerian Navy fought back and won. For 3 years, our seas have been calm. Piracy defeated. Waters secured. The Navy victorious. But calm seas alone are not enough. What next? Empty coasts. Idle hands. Youths with no trawlers to work on. Security without prosperity is only half a victory. America is a superpower because its security fuels its prosperity, and its prosperity funds its security. Nigeria too must embrace this duality. No arm of our military holds the key more than the Navy. The old battle was pirates, oil thieves, and poachers. The Navy won it. The new battle is poverty on our coasts, wasted blue wealth, stolen futures. This is the blue battle, the battle for prosperity, for jobs, for abundance. Admiral, history will remember not only the battles you won at sea, but the prosperity you unleashed from it. The ocean is Nigeria's greatest untapped treasure. From Lagos to Calabar, from Badagry to Bakassi, our waters carry the power to feed us, connect us, and propel our nation into prosperity. Yet for too long, we have turned our backs to the sea. Today, that tide must change. Our ocean is more than coastline. It is 853 kilometers of opportunity, 200 nautical miles of economic promise, and a lifeline for over 200 million Nigerians. 90% of our trade moves by sea. Millions depend on fisheries for their daily bread. And from offshore oil to renewable energy, our waters are the foundation of our survival. But with great wealth comes great responsibility. Our obligation is clear: to protect our waters from pollution, piracy, and neglect, to keep our seafarers safe, to sustain marine life for future generations, to govern our waterways with justice and foresight. If we fail, we risk not only our environment, but our very future as a maritime nation. Yet within every challenge lies opportunity. The blue economy can generate millions of jobs for our youth in shipping, aquaculture, shipbuilding, tourism, and marine technology. With innovation, skills, and vision, Nigeria can rise as Africa's true maritime giant. Our opportunity is not tomorrow. It is here. It is now. This is why the Blue Economy Academy exists, to eliminate sea blindness and ignite a blue awakening in Nigeria. Through knowledge, advocacy, and action, we are sowing the seeds of ocean literacy, so every Nigerian can see the water not as a boundary, but as a bridge to prosperity. All I want to do is to simply lead a blue awakening in Nigeria, to help my country prosper by water. On this World Maritime Day, Nigeria joins the world to say, our ocean. Our obligation. Our opportunity. Together, let us awaken to the power of the blue. Together, let us prosper by water.
The blue economy, a multi-billion-dollar frontier trapped by policy silos and regulatory gridlock. To unlock this wealth, technical expertise and political action must align.
I founded the Blue Economy Academy to provide the leadership required. We convene the experts.
We assemble a cast of policymakers, industry players, and financiers every month to huddle around prevailing ocean matters. Code Blue is Nigeria's monthly ocean intelligence brief. We convert ocean intelligence into policy action, milestones, and investments. Access the strategy now. Scan the QR code. Stop talking potential. Start executing the plan. Prosper by water.
Clue code activated. Nigeria's monthly ocean intelligence brief.
Nigeria has officially entered Code Blue, a new chapter in ocean intelligence powered by the Blue Economy Academy. Code Blue is our monthly national briefing series that brings together policy minds, industry leaders, and civic stakeholders to make sense of the opportunities that lie offshore, underwater, and on our coast. This is where we turn maritime insight into national strategy. Our maiden edition on July 29, 2025 sets sail with a landmark focus, Blueprint to Reality, mainstreaming Nigeria's 10-year marine and blue economy policy. We will unpack what the policy means beyond the paper and spotlight what government, industry, and of course citizens must do to implement it. With reflections from key public and private players, Code Blue aims to move Nigeria's blue economy from vision to value. Join us for this inaugural virtual voyage. Let's deepen the maritime awareness, shape national direction, and anchor new conversations that make Nigeria prosper by water. Welcome on board.
The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet. It generates life, connects economies, and holds boundless opportunities for sustainable prosperity. But for too long, Africa, and Nigeria in particular, has overlooked the vast potential of the blue economy.
That's why we created the Blue Economy Academy, BEA, to equip professionals, policymakers, and entrepreneurs with the actionable knowledge to unlock the wealth of our ocean-based industries.
The Blue Economy Academy is Nigeria's first specialized training hub, focused on preparing industry leaders for the evolving ocean economy. We train professionals in maritime, fisheries, offshore energy, coastal development, ocean finance, and governance, providing them with knowledge you can use. Our training model is built on 10 core pillars, covering every major sector of the blue economy, from sustainable shipping and offshore energy to ocean governance, climate resilience, and entrepreneurship.
The same way we have succeeded in building estates out of nowhere. There are places that are estates today that 10 years ago, if you mentioned it, and I still cringe that you mean there's an estate that would I love to live in those places. But when you see the drone view of those estates, when you hear people telling you that they live there, it's a miracle what the real estate sector has been able to accomplish. And we now know from the current rebasing of the GDP, the preliminary submission is that real estate has overtaken oil and gas in terms of GDP performance.
Whether you're a government official, a business leader, or an aspiring entrepreneur, the time to engage with the blue economy is now. Join us at the Blue Economy Academy and let's shape the future of ocean prosperity together.
Nigeria has long been behind the curve in leveraging its ocean assets, but with the right expertise, leadership, and strategic investment, we can become a powerhouse in the global blue economy.
At BEA, we do more than teach. We create industry impact by fostering innovation, partnerships, and investment opportunities in ocean-based sectors.
In the heart of darkness lies the power of light. Nigeria, rich in sun and oil, often overlooks a third gift, the ocean's energy. Tides that never sleep, waves that crash with force, winds that sweep the Atlantic. Nigeria's coastline holds immense, renewable energy waiting to be tapped. Globally, ocean energy is scaling fast. In West Africa, Nigeria is best placed to lead if it invests. New projects are exploring wave buoys, underwater turbines, and floating solar arrays. Startups in Lagos are working on energy harvesting seawalls and hydrogen extraction from seawater. With the right research, we could power homes, desalinate water, and energize ports, all from our waves. Challenges remain. High startup costs, grid integration, harsh marine conditions. But with public-private partnerships, local manufacturing, and training, we can leapfrog. Imagine rural electrification powered by tide. Imagine powering port operations with waves instead of diesel. Our oceans move endlessly, so should our imagination. The future of energy isn't just under our feet. It's rolling in, wave by wave.
Is West and Central Africa's only certified speaking professional. A powerhouse in public speaking, leadership development, and maritime strategy. He blends eloquence with economic foresight, championing Nigeria's transition from oil dependency to sustainable maritime prosperity. Please join me as we welcome the former special advisor to the Director General of NIMASA on communication and strategy, who is also the founder of Blue Economy Academy. Please celebrate Mr. Ubong Essien, PhD.
With regards to our business here today, in 2020, I had a fantastic privilege of being invited by the then DG of NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamu, to be a special advisor on strategy and communications. I was managing my business, teaching public speaking and communication skills to very high-profile people. He was one of my students back then, and he felt, you can't be here, you need to come and work in government. And I said to him, hell no. Those are my words to him. Hell no. Leave me alone, let me mind my business. Until my wife intervened and my mentor, a man I respect so much, Professor Patu Tomi, a man that I always say taught me a lot of what I know today. got on the phone and said to me, Ubon, what are you waiting for? You need some experience in government. And so I packed my bags and headed into the unknown to start a voyage in maritime. Now, I was thrown into that sector without any orientation. I had to work at the highest level with the chief executive day in, day out, and I had to learn very fast. The politics of it, and I'm glad I have an SSA here so he understands what I'm talking about. The politics of it, and of course, the technicalities of maritime. And one of the things I quickly discovered, which is really what is going to buoy what I share with you today, was that the real money is not in how much NIMASA collects or was collecting, or in those contracts. The real money, the real wealth was in the maritime sector itself, the entire ecosystem of what we now know and recognize as the blue economy. But before I proceed, permit me to also extend my respect and acknowledgement of the presence of the SSA to the Governor on Housing Ministry of Lagos State, Honorable Ayo Amodu. Honorable, my apologies, sorry, this just came to me. So we're in good hands. We have two SSAs here. So I feel a kindred spirit knowing the roles of special advisors to principal officers. And one of the things that I learned quickly, and I had what I would call the fortuity of leading, was the agency's Blue Economy Initiative, which we called From Crude to Blue. We are coming down to the real estate sector, but we need to know where the journey began. In other words, we had to start a conversation about our reliance on fossil fuels. Of course, it brings in most of our petrodollars. But does it really bring in, as a sector, the developmental expectations in terms of economics? 6 years ago, it was a report in the Nation newspaper. NLNG and NCDMB signed a $12 billion deal for LNG Train 7 to employ 10,000 people. Please, I want to crave your indulgence. Let's just deal with estimate values here. Can someone help me calculate $12 billion across 10,000 jobs? How much will it be per job? Anyone with any device, please. Help me out. $12 billion by 10,000 jobs. We are talking estimate values. We know that was an investment, but let us just cut the promoters of the project some slack. Let's say that was the total money meant for job and everything associated with it. What do we have per person? $1.2 million. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, $1.2 million multiplied by 1,500 naira. How much? 1.8 billion. 1.8 billion per job. This is the point I want to make. The expectation, and this is just very basic and simple economics, the expectation from that calculation alone is that for there to be any benefit, it would have to trickle down from each of those 10,000 persons. What is called trickle-down economics. So if 5,000 of us decide to go and stash 50% of that money somewhere in the US, what is its economic value? It's practically zero. This scenario is just an example of how enclave in nature, how restricted in nature the oil sector is. It demands huge investments, huge capital outlays per project, but its economic effects is so limited, so restricted. That's why if I were to ask each of you here, if you know anyone that works in the oil sector, you'll have to rack up your head. It's an exclusive economy, it's an exclusive club. Nigeria cannot grow economically on the strength of an economy that is on the strength of a sector that is exclusive, enclave by nature. We have seen it. And so it makes sense for us to say, out of that 12 billion, estate surveyors and valuers, we're going to invest just 1 billion out of that 12 billion in real estate. What do you think will happen in terms of employment? I'm asking you, anyone? This is an open conversation now. You know your numbers, you know your business. Will it employ just 10,000 people? Estate players in the estate sector, will it employ just 10,000 people? Give me a guess. Give me a guess. $1 billion investment in real estate across, maybe let's say a PPP project. Let's say we're building some smart cities. Let's say we're building some set of estates. Can someone give me a number, please? Pardon? Over 20,000? Any other person? It certainly will be much more than 12 billion to 10,000. So I share this with you to present to you a picture of two cities, a tale of two cities, or a tale of two economies. Oil and gas, which we have relied upon to drive our economy, and then the blue economy, which in itself is an emergent economy, an expand sector. And we're going to see some of the thinking behind it. And if I am able to help everyone in this room, whether you're a policymaker or a practitioner, to shift your thinking, then the possibilities will be endless. So, the blue economy and the real estate development, the sea of opportunities before us. The World Bank tells us that if the ocean were a country, it would be the 7th largest economy in the world. Let's start with that premise. The 7th largest economy in the world. The 6th largest economy is the UK. So after the UK, the ocean economy would be the 2nd largest in the world. For very obvious reasons. 70% of our planet is water. 70%. And the economic sustenance of the planet itself, apart from the biology of it, is water. How? Global trade. (70% to 80% of global trade is maritime. Maritime is blue. Think about it. During COVID, no planes could fly. No cars could run. We all got stuck. Everybody sat back at home. Only one place on earth was active. The sea lanes of the world. Transporting goods, supplies, equipment to help nations survive. Why? Because most of what we consume is delivered to us by water. So this is another important premise, because we do not understand the context. Every attempt we make to try to break into the blue economy from a blue cities perspective, which is one of the buckets of the blue economy, will challenge us and could even discourage us. So whether we like it or not, this is what the blue economy is about. So let's look at some definition of the blue economy, and let's take what the World Bank tells us about the blue economy. The World Bank says that the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth. It didn't say for revenues, and we have to begin to shift this mindset away from revenues. Revenues are essentially meant to be a fallout of actual growth. There's too much fixation on revenues without growth. It is not a sustainable approach. Revenues are a given. When economic growth takes place, you are generating so much revenues and it leaves nothing in terms of economic impact and growth. What it means is that when next we go in search of revenues, we have to increase the toll. That's what it means. So the oceans are there untapped because there's no growth. And all of the values. So whether we're in government, the fixation of revenue, the fixation towards revenue, or the fixation on revenue has to be modified, has to be tempered. Likewise, for those of us in business who are also fixated on revenues, how do I make money? It is not a sustainable approach without creating growth. Because what guarantees revenue in perpetuity is ensuring that the growth engine continues to run. If you're coming constantly for revenues, like the concept of Stephen Covey's work, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, when he talked about the golden goose, the goose that lays the golden egg. Each morning the farmer goes in, the goose lays an egg, he takes it to its golden cells. Every morning he keeps going. Then he got so tired, he said, look, why don't I just slice the goose open and take all the eggs? Well, there's a problem with that. In the final analysis, you can take all the eggs, then there's no more goose. That's a classical example of over-fixation on revenues alone, or on making money alone. There must be growth. The farmer ought to have been thinking of, oh, all right, I have one goose laying a golden egg. What do I need to do to expand capacity? That's what the blue economy is about. So it is a call to us to know that we must take steps, make the necessary commitments, make the necessary investments towards ensuring that there is growth, and then the money we are looking for will come. There's money, the blue economy. So let's go back to our definition. The sustainable use of ocean resources. The ocean has a lot of resources. Those resources are within the ocean, Those resources are also above and around the ocean, and those resources are also adjacent the ocean. If I wanted to define the blue economy simply to the average Nigeria, I would say everything water, whatever is inside the water, your fishes, your shrimps, those living organisms and plants, whatever is beneath at the bottom of the water, the resources you can mine from it. Whatever is on top of the water, your ability to carry out transportation activities. And then, of course, the fallout effects of what happens on the coasts or the adjacency value of water, meaning coastal communities, trading taking place along that line, the development of estates along that line, hubs. That entire ecosystem would be my own definition or explanation of what the blue economy means, so that the average Nigerian understands it and appreciates it, because Nigeria is a coastal state. Nigeria is supposed to be thriving via the blue economy. That is the understanding we are yet to inject fully into our minds. Many people live in Lagos but don't even have that appreciation that Lagos used to go by the appellation state of aquatic splendor. Now that sounds like a mouthful. But that's blue economy. So those are your ocean resources. And it says when we use these ocean resources, certain things must happen. First, economic growth. Second, improved livelihoods. There are people living around water bodies that are worse off. That is not blue economy. That's like brown economy. They are worse off. So that's not blue economy. It must improve their livelihoods. So whether it is to enable them go to schools, go to good schools, get medical support, and be as comfortable and have some measure of decency, improved livelihoods, it's a factor. And then, of course, it must create jobs. Jobs. It must create jobs. Employment, so that the people within that area can have a decent means of getting income to sustain their lives. And then, lastly, it must also preserve the health of the ocean ecosystem. So, as you begin to prepare your minds to go into the blue economy, from a real estate standpoint, you must understand what the blue economy actually means and what the 5 key elements represent. So that when you design projects, when you plan projects, when you propose or market or execute projects, all these elements must be there. So if you're building marinas, for instance, because those are the things we should begin to take for granted along our coasts. If you are building seaside estates, luxury estates, hotels, which cost so much more to be in, or take, we shouldn't go too far, take the Eco Atlantic, for instance. If you're doing all of this, you must keep in mind whether you're participating as a financier or participating as a transaction advisor or participating as a natural builder. You must keep these things in view. Sustainability, economic growth, which is where you make your money, improving the livelihoods of those within that context, making sure that you're asking yourself, how many jobs are we creating? And then ensuring that matters such as pollution are addressed. We take a look at our water, there's so much that needs to be done in that regard. Plastics in waters everywhere. These things have to be looked at collectively to ensure that we meet the definition of what the blue economy actually represents. I'm going to move on by showing us some facts and figures concerning the blue economy and why it is such an imperative. Globally, the blue economy is worth about $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion globally. Africa has managed, according to the AFDB, to capture about 296 of that economic value. And then Nigeria is positioned as having 10% of that. Understandably, we have a very expanded coast. From Badagry here in Lagos to Bakassi in Cross River or thereabouts, 853 kilometers. These are just conservative estimates to show us the potential. $30 billion. Can the blue economy bring us at least $1 billion? $1 billion is how much in Naira terms? 1.5 trillion? Is it? 1.5 trillion. These are the considerations, these are the things we must have at the back of our minds as we engage in this conversation. And I'm hoping, which is going to form one or two of my recommendations, that FIABC can begin to take the lead. Not just in advocacy. We are past the stage of advocacy. We are way, way, way behind. I'm talking now about engagement. Reaching out. Reaching out. Yes, we need policies. But don't wait for policies. I remember one of my famous motivational quotes. I used to do a lot of motivational speaking when I first started out some 25 years ago. It says, I couldn't wait for my ship to come in, so I had to swim out to it. I couldn't wait for success to come to me. Yes, that's the exact quotation. I used to use it back then. If you ever read the Achievers Manual that I published back in the day, I couldn't wait for success, so I had to swim out to it. So FIABC, NIESB, that's the mindset you must have. You do have government officials here. I am sure for a state like Lagos, Lagos is the center of excellence. Lagos always leads. There are some policy initiatives. We see that even in the various designations. But there are some policy elements that you are going to have to be the one to prod them to do. That's why it's called private sector-led initiative. 13 years ago, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, because he wanted to deliver packages swiftly, after starting Amazon Prime, which was one-day delivery, was not satisfied with just one-day delivery, he wanted instant delivery. So what did he do? He started test running drones to deliver packages within 30 minutes. That was 13 years ago. Sorry, 2002, yeah, 2025, 13 years ago. Sorry, 2012, I beg your pardon. And 60 Minutes had an interview with Jeff Bezos, and he said, look, I've done this. The problem that we have is that the FAA, that's the Federal Aviation Administration, they are so far behind. What you have just test run is confusing them. Think about it. Sometimes it has to be that way. Sometimes it has to be that way. That's why it's called a partnership. Government needs all the partnership it can get from those of us in the private sector. All the partnership. And don't just sit back and wait for policies. You can no longer rely on just advocacy and appeal. You've now got to move into engagement. And when we're talking of engagement, you're saying, for instance, FIABC, we're going to visit the governor of Lagos State. Lagos is a coastal city. We have some leverage. Some of our members are in the cabinet. We are not going there to say, Mr. Governor, as you know, the blue economy is this, that, and the other, and we need to tap into it. The ship has left the shore on that long ago. Kenya is doing far better than we are. We are behind, but we have the mass to actually once we get it right, overtake any African nation. You're going to say, if you can open up this space for us, PPP arrangement, the final say on occupancy is the governor. The same way we have succeeded in building estates out of nowhere. There are places that are estates today that 10 years ago, if you mentioned it, I still cringe. That you mean there's an estate there. Would I love to live in those places? But when you see the drone view of those estates, when you hear people telling you that they live there, it's a miracle what the real estate sector has been able to accomplish. And we now know from the current rebasing of the GDP, the preliminary submission is that real estate has what? Has overtaken oil and gas in terms of GDP performance. That should tell us that there's something there. We should all be paying attention to it. So you've worked this miracle on the land. We're saying it's time to take your miracle powers to the waters. Is it going to be easy? No. If you have to help the public officials with writing the policy, write it. Thankfully, we have enough technology to help shape a lot of these things. With the advent of artificial intelligence, we can quickly on a dashboard see what global best practices are and make the necessary adjustments. So you have to needle them. Absolutely, you have to needle them. Because sometimes the public sector is usually a laggard. Jeff Bezos wanted drone delivery. FAA couldn't catch up with it. I'm told that drone delivery just started in the UK last year or 2 years ago. The private sector has to be very aggressive. And that's why I use the term engagement over just advocacy. Because at the advocacy level, we're talking. At the engagement level, you are putting something on the table. And you are placing a challenge on the table. To say, give us this space. Give us this. Clear this space. If all you can do is open it up with the most minimal infrastructure as your own investment in this partnership, do it. And then we can take it off from there. All right, so the next thing I want us to focus on, I want to show us a picture of some of our maritime assets as a nation to just give us that level of clarity as to what we are sitting on and as to what we actually have in our possession as a nation. So here are some of our maritime assets. 853 kilometers of coastline. We've mentioned that. Those 8 literal states, Lagos, Ogun State, Ondo State, Delta, Rivers. There is Akwa Ibom, my state. Although I think I'm more of a Lagosian than an Akwa Ibom person because I was born and brought up here, and I'm not sure they've seen me in my state. Over 10 years, 15 years. Even when I worked in Nimasa had an office and projects there. It was those projects I was unfortunately not able to go and participate in. Cross River is also there. Bayelsa is there. We have 8 of these states. So we have what I call the keys of the Atlantic. And international law says that from the coastline right to 200 nautical miles, everything around the waters, inside the waters, belongs to us. Everything. So everything you can build there in terms of real estate is yours. And by the way, I was talking with my friend Bidomi this morning. I said, look, I have a slightly different view to the concept of real estate than the general one, which is, if we talk about real estate, it means that you own landed property and all that. That for me, real estate is permission to mint something. In this case, to mint money. That's what it is. Now, at the School of Eloquence, we have a license from the NBC to operate a TV channel called the Achievement Channel. And on that license, it says nationwide What do you think MTN's real estate is? It's not the mass or the masts and what have you. Its real estate is where? The airwaves. That is MTN's real estate, and that's why they say everywhere you go. That's real estate. So we need to begin to look at all of this, and I want to challenge you. So if I have a TV license that says nationwide, that means that my real estate, as far as broadcasting is concerned, is that space. The NBC gave us that license the same way the NCC gave MTN that license. And it's the same way the governors give you what? C of O. Because you know that the land is not permanently yours. Now, I don't know that I'm giving some governors ideas to begin to give water CFOs or blue CFOs here. But anyway, if they use it, they should make sure they pay me because so water itself is real estate. That's what we're saying. Because we're talking economics here. And until we begin to think ocean-centric views, we may not be able to translate our success on land to the sea. So we have 8,500 kilometers of inland waterways. Now, this is very interesting. So when we talk about the blue economy, it's not just what happens along the coast. The coastline is the frontier. That's why I believe very strongly that it is the 8 littoral states that represent the actual frontiers for the blue economy. FIAPSI find a way to engage with each of these states, understand their needs, do a proper needs analysis as it relates to real estate. That is going to be your linkage. Because what we're trying to do here is simply convergence. How do we bring about a convergence of real estate prowess with blue strength, which is our comparative advantage? When we say blue, we're talking about the waters, and then create an economic outcome that rewards the players, and also do it in a sustainable manner that provides employment and uplifts the livelihood of all parties involved. This is the thinking of the blue economy. So the 8 littoral states are the frontiers, but inside the country, within the country, I call those 20 states all connected by water, inland waterways network. We call them the blue corridors. 20 states in Nigeria can be linked within through water. And we have 8,500 over 8,500 kilometers of these inland waters. So think about those top two, 853 kilometers coastline and then 8,500 kilometers in-house. I'm going to spare you most of these others and then show you what I mean. Opportunities of the blue economy. This is our coastline. And there are cities everywhere here. There's Badagry, Ojo. These are all coastal, potentially coastal cities. Because that's where we are going to. Coastal cities. Look all the way right down to Bakassi. This is what we have for free. Every day we wake up to it. Economic possibilities that will not destroy the environment, that will create more jobs, guarantee more security, because if there's more development along these coastlines, it reduces insecurity. This is where the money is. Of course, I mentioned earlier on about what we have, our inland waters. So, my dear friends, I want to quickly point you to the buckets of blue opportunities. Let me tell you, you think you have made money, you haven't made money. If you're a long-term thinker and you can take or make the first mover's advantage, and of course, real estate business is a long-term business. This is where the money is. Every time I travel abroad, I pay more for the hotel room I stay in, as long as that hotel is closer to a water body than I pay for a regular hotel where normal people like you and I stay. Why? Blue economy. There's always a blue tax. We are enjoying this fresh breeze. I stayed at one hotel in Greece called Kiani Atti 2 years ago when I attended Posidonia, which is the annual event on maritime, on shipping globally. Because the Greeks are the leaders. The Greeks control about 30% of shipping globally. That's why they could manage their major economic crisis. Their economy, their maritime strength, their blue strength was out of this world. Countries like Singapore, all they are doing, they control 25% of maritime labor, seafarers. So imagine what those young boys from ships are repatriating. It gets to a point where nobody is bothering about revenues that government is collecting, but the collective effect, the collective blue effect from blue activity is significantly flowing in. I'm not just talking about trickle down when one person makes $1 million. No, that's trickle down economics. It's risky, it's unpredictable. But when it is a flow and it flows, you know that everything in that hemisphere is going to feel the effect of the current. That's the power of the blue economy. So when we are showing you this rug of water that we are lifting, we are showing you that, let me use a Yoruba expression, Nkombembe. That's what we're telling you. That's what we're telling you. So it's a bucket of blue opportunities. So I'm just going to leave you, before I go into Q&A, by just showing you the 10 buckets of blue economic activities so that you can decide which one you want to fetch from. The 10 bucket. That's why we call this an expanse economy. You don't need to be too sophisticated, having learned special drilling skills to participate. Just look for which bucket is nearest to your capability and begin to show interest. So what are those 10 buckets? At the Blue Economy Academy, I founded the Blue Economy Academy after my time in NIMASA. I said to myself, okay, I've had government experience, and it was a fantastic privilege, and I'll always be thankful to my boss, Dr. Jamo, who fought tooth and nail. He fought his way to ensure that I took up that job, up to the point of getting my wife involved. You know, when your wife comes and says to you, why don't you rethink it? It means that even in your house, you can lose elections. I'm telling you. That's what it means. And so I took on that job, and I learned a lot because I actually participated. All the things we did, we came up with a document called From Crude to Blue. I was sharing that with the chairman, with the chairman of Lagos PFC. Sorry, Lagos NIESB earlier on. And so these are the buckets I want to show you at the Blue Economy Academy, which was what I started after I left NIMASA. And look, I don't want this knowledge to go to waste. Let's begin to share knowledge, inspire people, educate people about the blue economy. So there are 10 buckets, and this is where I'll leave it and take questions. Bucket number 1, as you can see, is what we call blue what? Blue commerce, trade, shipping, movements of goods and services. Can you imagine blue commerce? Moving palm oil to Lagos by sea. It will be cheaper. You'll be able to do more volumes. You'll evade, the usual wahalas on the road I will not mention. And then you'll be able to do so much more. Blue commerce. So transportation itself is one. The second one is what we call blue bounty. Blue bounty simply means aquatic life. In terms of fish, shrimps, and the ton of what you can harvest for food. The third one is what we call blue power. Sustainable energy. Nigeria still has a lot to do in that regards. Renewables, wind farms, and all the rest that we can get. As we're struggling with our power as a nation, it has to be one of the options that we incorporate into our energy mix as a nation. Then the one that I think concerns you the most is blue cities, coastal infrastructure, coastal estates. I would prefer to live near the ocean and enjoy the breeze, because the breeze is better if you're nearer the ocean. Have you noticed? It's better. Then you have a host of others. You have blue capital. How do we raise money? And Fiabsi, this is going to be very important for you to engage and encourage your financiers to begin to think in terms of what we call blue bonds. Blue bonds. We have a series of programs at the Blue Economy Academy where we go into each of these buckets. It's a course you take for about a month to understand the total dimensions of the blue economy before you begin to get involved. Blue capital, because our finance just institutions need to learn these things. We now have green bonds. There are various ways to raise money, raise capital for your projects. But if your players or if your financiers don't have the understanding and what the rules are, they are not going to be able to provide that support meaningfully. Then there's blue governance and justice, and I'm glad we have a government presence here. There is the kind of awareness that is required to function in that space. So lawyers have a place here. If you're a lawyer, I would advise you to begin, if you are serious about the economics of your profession. This is one of the most untapped aspects of the legal profession. I could count the number of maritime lawyers I met during my 3 years at NIMASA. And yet, that was a sector that required so many lawyers in terms of specialization. Not to talk about blue governance and justice. Then Blue Nexus is about biotechnology and all of the various intersections of technological applications to drive the blue economy. Then we have blue climate. It's very important for those of us who care about the environment. Thankfully, every state now has a Ministry of Environment, and there are actions being taken because we must be stewards, worthy stewards of the environment. As we take resources from it, we must preserve it so that there will be a place to go back to continue and make it sustainable. And then we have blue talents. I mentioned the Philippines. 35% of seafarers in the world today, global supply of seafarers, are Filipinos. Pardon? You consent to it. Thank you very much. They are Filipinos. And you know the interesting thing? In maritime, you get paid in dollars. Because maritime is international. So blue talent is there, capacity building there, and then finally blue ventures. The kinds of businesses we need to set up. Young entrepreneurs need to begin to think. Startups in the blue sector, in the blue economy. So these are the things I want us to understand. It is not in my place to educate you. I am the least qualified to educate you when it comes to the specs of your business in real estate. I've only come here to shed light to help project what the trend is as far as this emerging sector is concerned. It's only emergent for us in Nigeria. It is a sector that has taken hold globally. And to challenge us to begin to think about making Nigeria blue. More blue is what we need. More blue so that we will not suffer the blues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was another big ocean of knowledge that we have just shared with us today. So we'll take Q&A. Because we don't have so much time, we'll take just 3 people. I know we have more questions, so I'm going to take in the order in which we raise our hands. So I have number 1. Please note that, sir. Do we have any other question in the house? Oh, we are all okay. Are you raising your hand? So number 2, sir.
Okay.
I think that's okay. We are all together. Your name, sir, your family, and your question.
My name is Boris. Good afternoon, everyone.
You say David?
I represent PIOCCI, the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is a global body of 36 million Indians working abroad. And I work the African region. I represent 54 countries from Lagos. Let me tell you, I don't want to have a question. As Professor Ubong said, I'll use the word professor. Most of these things, like, what you brought, I just want to have some supplements with your permission. Because I know you're a figure of the day, and you're trying really to make it a tomorrow today. Let me add to it. And I want all of us to, see in practicality some of those things what Professor has mentioned today, which many countries have achieved. The first thing what is started with the village, towns and cities. If you have time to, I welcome you to India and come to a state called Tamil Nadu. We built a temple from 7,000 kilometers far from Tamil Nadu coast called Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And those villages, if you see even today, there are houses which are not less than 6 to 8,000 of square feet, the minimum smallest house. Because that shows when you are at the coastal city, you can connect to the whole world. So I just wanted to supplement Professor on this issue, number one. Number two, we mentioned an inland waterways. Thanks to our current government in India, they are working tirelessly and with saves cost. Not only cost, the headache that we see on Nigerian roads. I just put in one number. For me, India has got a very big coastal, I don't remember the numbers, I think about 5,000 kilometers or so. So earlier, we used to produce something in Kolkata from eastern part of India and you take to western part of India. It will cost you 15 rupees per kilometer with fuel, toll and all the nonsense on the road. Because to tell you, Nigeria is just a pilot of India, what India used to be for 20 years ago. So you've seen all those things. So today, the same thing, you pay 1.5 rupees. You see how the water line moves and helps us. We're struggling on the road and the quantity. So Professor, that is the second thing that I wanted to supplement.
Thank you.
The third thing what I wanted to add to this gathering here is, let me tell you, yes, it is not a matter of government. Those who are still sleeping and waiting for the government to do, government may not come. Whose government is that? Who they represent? Who are those gentlemen sitting on the office? Please, go and engage them. He's right. The whole world is waiting, not for advocates. They have done enough advocacy has done. If you don't engage, the delay is yours. Your country is struggling. You are struggling. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. India is one of the leading maritime nations in the world today. We can't, maritime and blue economy, we can stay here and go on and on and on. As you can see, I still have like 4-5 slides, but again, that's why you have to come to the Blue Economy Academy, because we sit you down and we take you into it to understand what the dimensions are that we're dealing with. Then you take your own slice, your own bucket, and say, look, 10 buckets, I think this one bucket is enough for one lifetime. Let me now begin to drink from it and drill into it. Oceans of opportunities. In fact, think of the ocean this way, or the blue economy this way. Think in terms of vastness, as vast as the seas are, and think in terms of depth. Vastness and depth. That is what defines the true riches that are available with regards to the blue economy.
Thank you so much, Peter. I want to first of all take a lead from what Ms. Lewis, and you are briefing us about the size of your country. Yes, the vastness you described here, the depth. Your country has understood it and happening to it. I will tell you, we also understand it here. Unfortunately, we have a lot of bottlenecks that have made us to stand still and we are not tapping into the resources. And I must tell you that the main source of the strength that we're supposed to receive to tap into the resources is even the major cause of the problem. And that is the government and the bottleneck we put around. I was privileged to be present the day that the first inland waterway was launched in Nigeria, somewhere in Ngwaland in Aba. That was about almost 20 years ago. I was there. And then everybody that came was talking about how the economy is going to produce an area that has not been tapped into. You have explained here now how if you travel from your country to another country you mentioned, how the developments have sprung up and then dead areas have just come alive. Yes, and that was the target of what was happening at but after that date, the whole thing was standing still. The people who were looking this idea, many of them went bankrupt because of the problems they were having with the government. Everybody in government wanted to come and have a piece of the game and forgot what they were supposed to do. Asking for the own, if you don't want to give me part of this whole thing, the whole matter will die. And later, after some years, I was not hearing that, they said the first inland waterway that we launched in somewhere in Kaduna State. One of the ones that was happening in the people that need it most are not even having it. And so, when you talk about the government is, we shouldn't wait for the government, we have to wait for them. Because generally speaking, it's not as if we don't know what we are supposed to do. You are here with packed with knowledge about what we can do, and I'm sure so many of us who I've known this. Yes, every day, our eyes are open about the vastness of the economy. And I must tell you, I want you to help us out. How do we navigate ourselves out of this bottleneck? Not by the greed and greed that we greed of people to go. Or is it lack of talent, or is it lack of knowledge? We don't know that. So until that thing is unwound, we will not move anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As one who has worked in government, I agree with you. Government is that space. Government all over the world is not just Nigeria. Government is always a laggard. We must understand that all over the world. We can argue the degrees to which this happens or that. For instance, you have in America now, the government wants to create a Department of Government Efficiency because it feels, the current administration feels things are not as efficient as they should be. That's the nature of bureaucracies. That's why I said, that's why I mentioned that quotation, that I could not wait for success. So I swam out to it. Engagement is very important. For instance, one of the things, when we started engaging the state governors, we realized that by going there, telling them, this is what we have on the table that we are about to do, and you might miss out. That was enough to trigger a response. That's why it's a partnership. That's why I said advocacy will not cut it anymore. We've got to think engagement. There's no government you will go to and put some value on the table and there will not be some level of conversation. Because here's the mindset of those in government, that when you come to them, it's as if you are looking for something. That's the typical mindset. But we now need to reverse that look, we are bringing something. There are 8 littoral states. FIABC cannot engage with all 8 and not get a positive response from at least one. Through its network, its alums, probably there might be a FIABC member, maybe honorary member, that is a governor or a deputy governor or secretary to the governor or an influential person in government or in one party politics or the other. There has got to be. Because what I found is that everyone is connected to everyone. But the question is, are you willing? Are you ready? That's what needs to happen. So engagement will trigger things. It might not be enough of what you want, but that can start the process. I can say that out of experience, that the one or two private sector people that came, for instance, she's late now, and God bless her soul, bless memory, Lady Margaret Orakusi. Now, if you go to somewhere around Oyigbo, there's a jetty being built there. I don't know the state of that jetty now. During my time in Nimasa, Margaret Orakusi was probably one of the very few persons I could count the stakeholders that didn't come to Nimasa asking for something, looking for a contract or asking for anything. When she came, she was putting on the table, we could see the maritime projects she was doing, and the concern for us was how to not miss out. How to not miss out, we needed to at least find a way to associate with what was going to become a success. She had land cleared, that place was a massive heap of refuse. And she had reclaimed land, she had already cleaned the environment, she was doing that with NIWA and other agencies, and Nimasa had an environmental role to play. I was a special advisor to DG on strategy and communication. It wasn't something it wasn't something I had to struggle with. She had already made a compelling case. This was not somebody coming to take. This was somebody coming to say, look, I've already gone ahead of you guys. It just so happens that I need you to sign off on this or that. This train has already left. We need more of that mindset if we are going to succeed. So success does not come easily. We all have to go out. That's why I said we have to swim out to it. Kogi State is a confluence state. It even makes it a greater, for instance, I mean Kogi as an instance. Visit the governor. If what you have to use to bring him into the fold is giving an honorary membership or whatever it is, and then you're laying it at the table and it's clear. So I can't go into the nitty-gritty, but it's a mindset that we have to adopt because government is slow. We have to get ahead of it. That's one of the things that I learned, and that's why I want to encourage and to say, don't be discouraged. Engage and demand. We have senior government officials. I think the two of them have left. The next conversation should be, all right, this is what you're planning to do. We know you're already doing this and that. There's a point of convergence. Let me give you a typical instance. When we visited the DG of Nimasa, then Dr. Jamo visited the governor of Lagos on the Blue Economy Project, for instance. I was on that team. The governor said, okay, you know what? I could be interested in Blue Talent, which is, what's it called now? Seafarers, training of seafarers. But we already have a maritime academy in Oron, but we don't mind being, what do you call it now, a mini campus in Lagos. I can provide infrastructure, I can provide whatever it will take. I can provide buildings, whatever it will take. Now, what was missing in that meeting was a FIABC-like party. Let's say a CIPM, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, because we're talking talent here, that could have just brokered it. Now, what could have happened, or the expectation of governance would have been that maybe someone on the Lagos team in doing their job would have made that connection. My governor is ready, Nimasa is ready. How do we create this linkage? But because it was government talking to government, can you see what's happening? That match did not light. This 4 years down the line. That's why I'm saying we cannot, the stakes are too high for us to leave it totally to them. We must up our game. Because if CIPM has said, oh, we have the database, we are the warehouse of manpower development in Nigeria. All right? So do we need to create an agency? Do we need to create a special purpose vehicle? Whatever it is, that's where private sector would have come to lead it. And that's why I'm saying to FIABC that you are in a unique position right now to spark off these engagements. And one thing I want to encourage you to do is to set up a Blue Economy Committee within your body to focus on this and to begin to take some steps. So there are lots of irons in the fires, but we have not connected the dots, the linkages to spark them into life is what's missing. And the problem is that we are waiting for civil servants who by their default status, it's their wheelbarrow-like. You know what a wheelbarrow, you have to lift it and push it. And when we need to do that, we must do it. Because you are investing, your resources are going into this. So it is in your interest to help drive the policy, if policy is what is needed. If policy is the only thing remaining, to help drive it, it is in your interest. So you must find a way to have a seat at the table. That's how this works. Otherwise, we'll keep preaching it as you've continued to say, and nothing will come out. For me, as the founder of the Blue Economy Academy, what I have, the master in 3 years was like my PhD in maritime and blue economy. I don't, as a technician, I know how it works. And what we have done at the Blue Economy Academy is to translate that into modules of learning, but in a very functional way. Not academic now. These are the things you can begin to do. Calls you can begin to make. Just like you have Lagos Business School. As you're finishing a program in Lagos Business School, you're already seeing results from the network, the connections, and what have you. So most of us have access to governance. How are we using the access? How are we leveraging it to move industries and sectors forward? So I feel you, sir, because I've been there, I know what it's like. But what I also know is that if we want something, we have to get up and move the needle. Otherwise, in 5 years' time, we'll be back here and we're still discussing this. And I hope that FIABC can begin to make the move in engagement terms. And let's begin to see, I want to see the president of FIABC Africa and Nigeria in Bayelsa with the governor. And then a statement that, okay, we are giving you this plot to develop as a test blue city. Then FIABC, your network, your members, with all of the connections, can we do this? Let's see what it will look like. And I can tell you, the governor of Ogun State, once he sees that, he will call Mr. Adele and say, are you not my brother again? What happened? I'm seeing you in Bayelsa. That's how things work in this country. Well, I'm seeing you in Bayelsa. What happened? You are from this state. That will be the next question. I can tell you from my state that if they see me doing this, they will ask, and you are from this state and you have never, they will accuse me as if it is my fault. But the point I'm making is there are things we can do. There are low-hanging fruits. Let's take them first and let the policy and the bureaucracy catch up. They are lagging indicators. They are laggards.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm done.
Sorry, we just have one more question.
One more? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Reverend Dr. David. I'm from New York City. My question to my honorable, thank you, sir. You are very inspiring, your message, and eloquent. My question is, I've been watching and I see the ocean bringing dollar in. Now, luckily, I'm one of the contact persons in New York City when it comes to affairs of Nigeria and Africa. My question to you, my honorable, how can we be in safe haven when it has to do with honest person to deal with in Nigeria? Now, I want to see or hear from the panel. Who can we get in touch with when we want to get property here that we won't cultivate in empty barrel, that we pay and we don't get nothing in return? Fortunately, I'm very close to the Black American business people and developers. And I think before COVID, the main Sanwo-Olu came to the US to ask for people of business And unfortunately that I was there as one of the people that he spoke with. Now I want to see how you can make it that we will have confidence in Nigeria when we're talking of real estate, because we have big real estate developers that they are interested in Nigeria real estate. I was invited to Nigeria Embassy last year. They urged me to use my influence to bring business people to Nigeria. Where our problem started from is the consulate, where they can't get visa because they contacted visa to a private company. So now, if you can advise me, so I carry the message home that we are safe to do business with Nigeria or Africa particularly, that these are the list of people we can deal with, that we can sleep without open one eye.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Reverend. We appreciate your question. It's always a germane concern because these are investments that we're talking about here. I think you are already in the right space. You're already in the right space. Because when you make plans of the nature that you have indicated, and by the way, New York City is one of the leading blue economy centers in the world. I mean, in terms of what happens between New York and New Jersey, their ports and what goes on there. So you've come to the right place in terms of a professional, having access to the right professionals to guide you in that. And so you'll be meeting with the presidents of the two presidents, FIAPSI, Africa and Near East. Mr. Dele is here. He's going to work with you. And then, of course, Mr. Opatola is here as well. So here you have both FIAPSI, which is the international body for real estate practice. And then you also have members of the NIESV, that's the Nigerian Institution for Estate Surveyors and Valuers. So you are in good company. So I hope that addresses your concern. Before I leave, I want to reference something I watched 2 weeks ago on television. It was in Enugu State. The governor of Enugu State and the owner of Landmark. Gentlemen, that's a man that understands what is under that blue rug. That's a man that understands the blue economy. I've never met him. I just saw it, and by the time I turned to it, I saw the governor, and what I could hear was Nike Lake Resort, and I saw Landmark. I didn't need to watch it any further. I could establish what was about to happen. And that's also a governor. That's why I said, go to the governor. The governors are the key to the blue economy. Let's be clear. Yes, we will eventually have a national policy. It's taken a while in coming. We had started that some 3 years ago from NIMASA to the ministry then, and then under the chairmanship of the then vice president. We had a couple of meetings, but then of course, the tenure elapsed or ended, and then here we are. So we will get there. But don't wait for the policy. Write your own policy and start to execute and then converge. There will be a convergence. But if you wait for the policy, it comes in 10 years. Uninvested resources will go latent. So blue economy will allow you to broaden your mix of portfolio in this business, and you need it. No investor sticks only to a singular line of investment. So here we see a man who encountered a very painful, and let's agree with that, setback. That was actually a thriving blue economy endeavor. Things happen. But here we also see a man who is resilient as the seas, as the waters. Who then says, okay, this has happened. Rather than throw his hands up in the air, blame, whatever, accuse, he locates another playing field, another watery playing field, a blue playing field. Nike Lake Resort in Enugu used to be a very fantastic place. And here we see a man, that's a blue economy, that he decides to move from the coast, because Landmark was on the coast, and decides to say, well, if the coast is giving me stress because of the construction of the Lagos, that's the coastal highway, which in itself, if accomplished, or when accomplished, will actually add significant value. But do not wait. We don't know when it will be accomplished. The man goes from the coast, from the coastal side to the blue corridor. That is how this game is played. How? Sitting down with the governor. The governor did not need to think twice. This man has something on the table. Gentlemen, that's the point we are making. He engaged, he didn't advocate. So I want to encourage us, and I look forward to our continued relationship, because already NIESB, FIAPSHI have, even though they've not given my certificate yet, I have it. I can walk in at any time. And I want to assure you, from the School of Eloquence to the Achievement Channel and to the Blue Economy Academy, we will always continue to support you, to work with you. We've got loads of programs, and ensure that we drive this together, because this is what will save Nigeria. It's what that will save Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let us continue with the organic round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Who's going to talk with us, who will lead the discussion, let me say it that way, has been one of us in the industry. So there is nothing you are going to hear today is probably through practical experience, because he has passed through several ladders in this industry. One, he worked as a SA media to the Master DJ, Dr. Jamu. That was his last port of call. And thereafter, before then, he had a school in Lagos, a very thriving school, called School of Eloquence and Communication. I'm sure most of you have been hearing of it. That's the owner, the proprietor of School of Eloquence and Communication. His name is Dr. S.N. Ubong. So let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. His paper or his discussion this morning is very broad, because I know he has navigated well in the industry. And when we were discussing, I told him, listen, I beg, so many things are involved. You have to go through the nitty-gritty. In fact, his paper is 4 papers in 1. So it's going to be holistic. Sir, the people you see here are staff of PR unit of Nigerian Shippers Council. Most of them are in Lagos, some of them are in Kano, Abuja, Bauchi, Port Harcourt. All where they have zonal offices, they have PR people in those offices. So the head of PR assembled them to come and share perspectives, share ideas on how to go forward, which is a normal routine. So we'll now give you the floor to start your conversation with us. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. Let me start by
extending my respect to Head of PR. Madam, thank you for this wonderful initiative. And that's what leadership is about in terms of building the team. So I want to say well done for leading this charge in this regards. And then to all of you, my colleagues in this business of communication, we are communicators, all of us here. That's really the crux of who and what we are. And that's the essence that we represent. The PR function is essentially an element of the entire communication architecture. And I hope that as we engage in these conversations, one of the things that I am looking forward to doing is to engender a paradigm shift. Having had the privilege, having been a private sector person and then I had the privilege to serve in the public space, I'm always excited when I'm asked to come back to join these conversations because of the benefit of both worlds. And I have seen from experience, I think August will make it 2 years since I left NIMASA. I've seen from experience that each time I pop into meetings like this and speak, it's always so enlightening, even for me, to think and realize what I could have even done differently when I was in service. So it is my hope that we would at least have that paradigm shift, because without it, we will continue to run the same clock again and again and again. So that's one of the reasons why I opted for us to have a more interactive, engaging decoupling of the subject matter. After this, I will still send you a paper. The paper will reflect what happened here. I will send the paper formally through my colleague here to the team that will put into place a clear picture of things that you can begin to do and to implement. So I'm very thankful for the privilege of joining you here this morning. As I said, I do have a bit of history with the Nigerian Shippers Council, not even a bit of history. It's a rich one, especially during the time of Malam Hassan Bello. I remember that we had about 2 cohorts from the Nigerian Shippers Council come to the School of Eloquence to be trained on public speaking and presentation skills. It was, I would say, an across the agency participation. There were people from finance, people from consumer support, there were people from PR. You were in that program as well. I remember very well. It was a very good program. I remember some of the faces. I remember Monica. Is Monica still in the system? I remember Emeka Ogaba and painfully the late, no, it was in the PR, the late, no, not Patricia. Is it Yunus? And I've forgotten his full name. Yes, Yunus, yes. Yeah, was in training, yes, sadly. So we do have that history of maritime. My life in maritime has been a very interesting one. I never knew that I would eventually work in maritime, but I had always supported so many people in the sector. They would come to the School of Eloquence, then we're in GRE Ikeja. We've moved to Ikoyi now, and we would just work. Little did I know that the sea was calling. And by 2020, when Dr. Jamo became the DG of NIMASA, he practically ambushed me and said, you have to come in and work. And I'm thankful as I look back to him for insisting, because I said no for 5 months, but for insisting. And I'm very grateful for that experience. And sometimes you need people like that in your life, because it gave me a whole new career in the blue economy. So I'm very grateful for that. So today we're going to converge. We're going to converge communication tactics, essentially. Even though you're referred to as the PR unit, we're going to converge communication dynamics into that space in our port community system, where Shippers Council operates as the economic ombudsperson. The amazing thing about the maritime ecosystem is that everybody has got their space. For us back then in the market, it was all about safety and what have you. But for you, it's pure economics. And so, as we start this conversation to engender a paradigm shift, the first thing I want you to note is that you must see yourselves as communicators, first and foremost. Why am I making this point? The typical tendency when you look at the PR architecture of a number of government agencies and entities, it's a default mode, is that yes, in terms of the PR function, we are almost always on crisis mode. Have you noticed that? We are either praying that something does not go wrong, and when something goes wrong, a lot of the times it catches us flat-footed. So we are constantly playing catch-up. We are constantly in reactionary mode. So we call the press, put out a press release, we are constantly just sending all of these information out for it to circulate. That's what typically happens. And the maritime space being such a volatile operating environment, because there are just so many players doing so many different things, from security to safety to trade, so much just keeps going on. We're here, a lot is going on. We have no clue what's going on. So our thinking must evolve into a more strategic pattern that envisages, that plays the devil's advocate, that anticipates, that just sits down. Maybe in your office, 2-3 of you can just sit down and just begin to throw up scenarios. Scenario thinking must be part of how you operate. Why? So that when it's time for the actual PR function, because it is a leg in the entire communication system, you'll be able to use PR to service the needs of the publics in a way that it burnishes your reputation, rather than trying to use PR as a tool to solve all forms of crisis that requires communication. So we need to think broadly. Because if we keep relying on that PR mentality, most of what we'll be doing will be clean-up business. How many of you agree with me on that? It's a tendency to always clean up. So first and foremost, the paradigm must shift. You are communicators. And by that, it also means that you are strategists. You must begin to have a very strategic disposition to things. When I worked with my principal, back then the master, I would sit down, sometimes I'll sit down with him at home and tell him, what if as we sit right now, some seafarers are being kidnapped? Right now. We don't know what's happening out there on the ICs. And we said, why are you thinking that? I said, it's my job, it's communication, what we need to anticipate, because these are part of the occupational hazards. What if, as you see it right now, there is a very serious argument or a very serious rift between port operator A and freight forwarder B that had probably been brewing some 3 months ago when the vessel left China with the cargo. Because your business, really, the football in your playing field is cargo. That's the football. In your playing field is cargo. And the players, typically your terminal operators and the shippers. And the enabling law that sets you up says, first and foremost, protect who? Protect the shipper. But you have evolved over time to realize that beyond protecting the shipper, you need to have your hands on the entire economic activities within the port community. Hence the role of a PER, Port Economic Regulator. These things are going on. What we just do not know. And so the thinking, as I said, you must think communication, and then your mindset must be more strategic. It must be communications and strategy, or strategic communication. PR being a leg. We will know when to deploy PR. So what if between terminal operator A and freight forwarder B right now, you know your players, you have your database. By now, the expectation is that you know where the potential challenges could be. You know where the hotspots in that economic space in the port could be. So what if right now this is happening? And it's sounding like an irreconcilable problem. And these entities are powerful in their respective rights to also use the media to put it out there that we are being overcharged by this particular port operator. Charges that do not exist, charges that are opportunistic. So what I'm doing, I'm just scenario painting now. What if that's going on and you didn't get to have a sense of it? Do you have, and this is the question I'm asking you, a playbook for dealing with such a situation from a communications standpoint? We're not talking about the units in charge of consumer protection and what have you. The PR unit must have its own playbook that it has developed strategically by thinking out these scenarios. They may happen, they may also not happen. But we are strategists, we are in the game, in the business of envisaging and anticipating most times the unthinkable happening, and then bracing ourselves in the event that it happens. That's what it means to be proactive. Great communicators have strong proactive behaviors. We have to be proactive. That's part of how we change our paradigm. That's a part of how we change the mindset, the approach. We move ourselves out of that space, and the reasoning becomes different. If you are able to make this leap or this transition in disposition, let me tell you what happens. It begins to cascade into, number one, how you operate inter-unit or interdepartmentally. It changes the kind of question or the kind of data or the kind of information request you make of your other departments and units that are on the front lines. Why? Because you're looking at the matter strategically with a view to a certain outcome. And what is that outcome? You want the perception about Shippers Council to be in alignment with the mandate of Shippers Council. Because that is the journey as to how you begin to become a brand, which is what our conversation is all about here. For most government agencies, there is always a potential misalignment between what they stand for and what they are doing and what they represent in the minds of their audience. For most. So it takes a lot of conscious work. So I'm taking you back to first order of business. You are communicators, and so the paradigm must shift. It's bigger than just public relations. Far, far bigger. More so now that the country has adopted the model beyond a Ministry of Transportation to say it is now marine and blue economy. So it is a wide expanse of an entire ecosystem. A wide expanse. At the Blue Economy Academy, which one of the things I started when I left, finished my service, we're looking at 10 buckets. It's so massive. It's 10 separate areas. There's a lot going on. And you play in about 5 of those, from commerce to regulation, trade, innovation. As an economic regulator within the port system, your role straddles so many of these areas. So we must start first by adjusting the paradigm, the mentality, the approach, the thinking has to be different. Otherwise, we'll constantly keep just sending out press releases, responses, firing emails, calling journalists to do a special interview with our chief executive and all of that. Those things are good, but they are transactional. They are good. They have a place, but they are transactional. That should not be what defines us. We need to change the game by changing our disposition. So we have to look at our way